Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tales from the Post. Thanks for joining us for episode 5. We have Mr. Jim Burrell in the studio today, Vietnam veteran. We're going to get his stories today, too. His is the only guest so far that I've had to take multiple pages of notes for. Other vets usually bring in notes, or I'll dedicate a page to them in my book. This man decided he had a lot to say. So we're going to listen in and hopefully learn something. Thanks for coming to the studio.
Thank you.
So, what motivated you to join the military? Were you a draftee? Were you a volunteer? What was your call to service?
Well, I was kind of both. I was drafted, and the first week, when the 0 week, when they start orienting you and stuff, we got tested, and they offered me some good deals. So I decided to enlist, and they discharged me for the draft and enlisted me for a 3-year enlistment.
All right. So
I'm an RA 52818-068.
I have no idea what that is. You'd have to
My
explain.
serial number, service number, RA, regular Army, 52818-068. That's me.
Oh, they've changed it since then. For us,
Oh, I'm sure they have.
It was just the last 4 of our social. That's what they did everything by. But okay, so you were drafted, but apparently they offered you a pretty sweet deal. I mean, you were going in anyway, but you might as well get what you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they offered you something.
Exactly. That's why I went for the 3-year enlistment.
So what motivated you to join? What did you have?
My father served in World War II. He was an Army medic, and he made 5 beach landings in the South Pacific.
Oh, wow.
So there was that, and I don't have any paperwork to back it up, but I was told that his father, my grandfather, served World War I.
So you have a lineage.
Yes. So there was nobody in the family was keen on me going in the Army, but I was there anyway.
Yeah, vets know the cost of war, and it's the common phrase is like if there's war, let it be in my time so that my children will know peace. And the U.S., we've never known real peacetime. So you have a family history of being in the military. Question about your father. You said he was in the Pacific, but he was Army?
Yes.
Was he part of the 77th?
That doesn't sound familiar to me. I would have to research it from some of the records I have from him. I do know that he was in 42 till 45.
Okay, so that's late World War II. Because World War II ended in 45.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to think of the
Well,
Army.
it started for the U.S. in 41, December 7th, on Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying in the entirety of the World War, because we had people go and join other nations to jump in.
Yes.
I don't know if your dad may have been one of those.
No.
Yeah, it ended, I can't remember the exact month, but 1945.
I believe it was August.
August?
Yeah, it's after they dropped the bomb on Japan. Germany surrendered in March of 45.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. I wanted to say April, March, April.
Yeah, with Germany. I'm pretty sure.
So your grandfather participated in World War One.
I was told. I have no documentation on that.
And then your dad, World War II. You, Vietnam. Did you have anybody in the Korean War? Aunts, uncles?
No, but my son enlisted when after 9/11, and he finished high school, and then he enlisted in the Army and became an Army engineer like his old man. And he did 2 tours in Iraq and 1 Afghanistan.
Oh, wow. So he got to see both places.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, y'all just skipped Korean War.
Yeah. Yeah, we took a break.
So, you said it. You were an engineer.
Yes.
Where'd you go to basic training at?
Okay, I was, let's see, I enlisted in June 68, and I did my basic training at Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Yeah, now it's Fort Liberty.
Yeah, whatever. They should have never changed it, but that's a different subject. And I did my 8 weeks of basic, and then they shipped me to Leonard Wood
Oh, Fort Lost
for,
in the Woods.
yeah, Fort Lost in the Woods, yeah, Fort Leonard Wood, uh, for engineer AIT.
I wonder, because I went to Leonard Wood too, but whenever I was there, it was only chemical, truck drivers, and MPs. Or, yeah, because my cousin went to basic there, and they shipped him somewhere else for engineering. He was an engineer too,
Hmm.
but I don't know where they do the engineer training now. There still may be a part of it at Leonard Wood.
I don't. Yeah, I think there is because one of our 299th Engineer Battalion reunions we had in Brandon, Missouri, Branson,
Oh, okay.
the big Las Vegas kind of place.
Yeah, it's like the bike, the
Branson, I think it is.
motorcyclists.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just south of Fort Leonard Wood, and the base commander invited us up to talk with the new officers that were training there, and they were engineers at the time. And that was it might be 20 years ago though that we had that reunion there.
Was y'all's insignia a red castle?
That was, I think, the castle is the engineer insignia. That's the collar pin.
I just remember on Leonard Wood they had an engineer.
Yeah, it's
but
a
it was
dual
just,
castle.
yes,
Yes, yeah, that's the engineer emblem.
because they trained sappers.
Yes,
I remember there was sappers there.
yeah,
You were a sapper?
yes.
Okay, we're going to talk about that. Sappers are cool as shit.
I was 12B4, which is demolition specialist.
Blowing shit up.
Yeah, digging up landmines and explosives. Also EOD
Yeah, you were
disposal.
or prior to like the founding of modern day EOD, right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. I could have put two and two together, but I didn't. I'm just dumb, I guess. So you go through Fort Leonard Wood, become an engineer. So did you do sapper training right after AIT, or
There was no such thing as sapper training. We were just known as sappers.
oh well, now they have a sapper class and you get a tab
It's
like a
all
ranger
it
tab.
is. It amounts to is crawling under the barbed wire, sneaking around in ditches, planting your charges, and getting your ass out. That's all it is.
No, I don't know what they do now, but apparently it's enough. They get a tab like an airborne. They get
Mm-hmm.
a ranger tab, special force tab. They got a sapper tab now too.
Yeah.
So did you go to a unit here stateside first, or were you one of the ones that immediately shipped off to Vietnam?
I finished AIT at Leonard Wood, and I was a holdover in the headquarters company there. So I was just a private E2 at that time. So I was assisting in the training schedules and moving the recruits around.
The house mouse stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So how long before you actually got assigned to a unit, or
Well,
did
it
you
was.
leave?
I landed in Vietnam. See, that was in '68. So all the rest of '68 into the spring of '69. That's when I was given leave and shipped to Vietnam.
Oh, well, at least they gave you leave first.
Yeah.
Go home, see family.
Yeah, 30-day leave.
So you didn't go to DACTO immediately, right? Where did y'all in process Vietnam at? Was it like Saigon?
Let's see. Flew into Tan Son Nhut Air Base, and from there I was ferried up to Pleiku, and from there, that's when I was assigned to Dak To, and we convoyed up to from Pleiku up to Anke, and then from Anke up to Dak To.
In Dak To, there's going to be a map up, but Dak To is like halfway through Vietnam on the northern part of the Central Highlands, right next to, is that Cambodia or Laos?
Both of them.
Both of them. Oh, so you're at the tri-nation.
Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam.
Okay.
It's what they call the tri-state area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long, well, I guess, what did you actually do in country? You talked a little bit about it, like you were a minesweeper and EOD.
Yeah, I was demolition specialist.
But how long, when you got into country, how long was it before they actually sent you on routes? And was there any cross training between the unit you were replacing or anything?
No.
They just threw you into the mix?
They just put me right to work.
So what was your first job while you were there? Was it route clearance?
It was, yes, it was mine sweeping the road. We were responsible for 12 miles of road south of Dak To, starting at the village of Tan Can and working south. And what would happen was we would sweep to a certain, I think it was a bridge. We were responsible up to that bridge, and the Arvins were sweeping from the south, from Anke, I believe, north, and they would meet up with us at the bridge there, or the bridge was the break-off point.
That was the boundary. The bridge served as the boundary marker.
Right. And that was just our meeting point. We were responsible for the road up to that point.
What did y'all do minesweeping? Because for us, they just literally pushed cars, or they would have these rollers that would be out in front, and they'd intentionally run over them. What was y'all's method for that?
Well, in World War II, they developed that roller with the chain on it that would slap it out there and set something off. We walked it. The roads, they were all dirt roads. I believe it was laterite, which is a form of clay. And it packs really good. It makes a good road surface, even for heavy traffic, truck traffic. But in the rainy season, it just turns to mud. It's just a soup. So we would walk it, and we had they had already pulled out the 4th Infantry Division for our support troops. So we had ARVN support troops, and they would accompany us sometimes with APCs.
Armored personnel carriers.
And they'd run off the sides of the road. While we walked the road, they would run alongside. The jungle had been cleared back approximately 50 yards on either side of the road.
To help prevent ambushes?
Yes, exactly.
So what was y'all's home duty station, like inside Dak To, where it was supposed to be safe? Like, what was that living condition like?
Well, it was basically a big tent with a wooden platform floor. And we were housed like 2 squads to a tent. And so there was four squads in the platoon. And no, there were 8 squads in the platoon.
Oh, y'all had a big platoon then.
Yeah, it was about 30 men.
Oh, well, no, we had 4 squads, and there's about 30, 32 people, if you count the platoon sergeant and the lieutenant.
Well, I guess our squads were cut down. We were like 5, 6 guys per squad.
Yeah, no, those were a team for us.
Yeah, well, we were thin.
Yeah, we had 1 squad leader. So we had 4 squads, 1 squad leader, 2 team leaders. So each team leader would have 4 guys-ish around there. So that's camping, right? Staying in a tent and whatnot. What did you do for fun out there? Because I can't imagine you'd have a...
Well, there was no recreation. I mean, one of the guys in my squad, Laney, I used to sneak out through the wire at night and go down to the village tin can and party it up. That was his idea of fun. I said, "Go ahead."
Like, whenever we didn't have anything going on, we'd play spades, right? Just play cards.
Yeah, well, we do that sometimes.
Because you got to do
We
something to
were,
keep you from going mad because you're
yeah,
cooped up.
well, we were on a pretty tight schedule because uh, we also had to pull our guard duty
No, yeah.
on our perimeter.
Was it 12 on, 12 off type
We
thing?
had bunkers. Let's see. I don't remember the hours you were up. It was you were up for you pulled a 2 hour shift and you were off for four. And you pulled another 2 hour shift and you were off for four. That's 12 hours, right?
Yeah.
So you spent 12 hours on the bunker. Then, well, you'd start the day's work. We go out and sweep the road, and then once the road was swept, we had projects we were working on, um, uh, bridge repair and replacement, culverts. We put in a lot of culverts to improve the roads. Uh, and then there were other projects on the fire support base, um, uh, things that needed maintenance, the fuel bladders for the aircraft, and weapons and things.
Yeah, I was doing research on it because you're a member of the DACTO Defenders,
Yes.
correct? Yeah, DACTO Defenders were actually in country. They were there for we're probably coming up on the 8-week siege.
Yes.
Where he said it earlier. I forget the president's time. Was it Nixon?
Yeah.
That pulled. DACTO was left, in essence, defenseless. All combat units were pulled out. They weren't giving y'all M16s, stuff like that.
No.
Y'all were taking the rounds out of your M60s to put in the M14s.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to touch on that a little bit, but y'all were left kind of defenseless. It was engineers.
Yeah,
there,
they
right?
left our ass hanging out there.
And then they pulled the 173rd out too, right? When did the 173rd get pulled out?
I never saw the 173rd up there. Timmy was telling me about that, but that was before my time there, and that was before the May to June to July siege you're talking about.
Right. So do you want to cover that, or do you want to talk a little bit about the 8-week siege? What went
Well,
on?
that was just a daily grind of you could count on being shelled in the compound with mortars and 122 rockets at least twice a day, and usually they hit around chow time. Normally it would be breakfast when everybody's at the mess hall, or supper time.
So whenever they just wake up and they're woozy or everybody's hungry,
Yeah.
and then dinner by the time end of the day, people are tired, hungry, trying to get them all in one central location and take them all out.
Yeah. Trying to maximize their effectiveness.
Well, there was also a day where they got through the wire, right? And they took out 40 y'all's
Yeah,
helicopters.
there was 6 of them got in. And they ended up, they were over, there was 2 of our companies from the 299th Engineers there, A Company and D Company. Okay, A Company, as I remember the layout of the place, we were on the south side of the fire base. Okay, D Company was on the north side, and those sappers got in on the north side. Okay, so they ran around throwing satchel charges left and right and doing whatever damage they could, till they ended up in D Company's mess hall, where they got massacred. I mean, those boys didn't care nothing about shooting up their own mess hall. They got every one of them.
Wow. So was that the ones that hijacked the Jeep and was throwing satchel charges in?
No, that happened at the airstrip at Ankh.
Okay.
That was months later.
Oh, I thought that was at DACTO.
No.
Because DACTO, from the research that I did, y'all had a small Air Force group. I don't even want to call it a detachment or anything.
There was
like 6 people or something like that.
Support crew there, but they kept no aircraft, no choppers there. There was just a short little airstrip that the recon planes could land on them, but none of the jets could. It wasn't that long.
It was like snap-in flooring type stuff, right?
Yeah, it was what they call a hasty runway.
Yeah, I'm trying to forget, or I'm trying to remember, but I'm forgetting what it was actually called. Revetments, I want
Yeah.
to say.
Well, we built revetments out of it.
Okay.
A revetment is a wall,
Oh,
okay? And what we do is hook the panels together, uh, bend some rebar to brace them,
to
and
make
then
bunkers.
backfill it with dirt or sand. And you build those walls like that, and you could park a chopper in there or an aircraft. And they couldn't send a round in and blow one up, and blow up the two next to it. Uh, it was a security thing.
So the bunkers that you had to pull guard stuff on, what were those made out of?
Sandbags.
Just sandbags, concertina
Wooden
wire, barbed
sandbags.
wire.
Yeah.
So that's where, so the 122 that went in. I don't know if you want to talk about
Oh,
it or
that
not.
knocked out those, was it 4 guys?
There's some. It's fixing to get kind of depressing here in a minute. Yeah, that the bunker that the 122 went in, and
Yeah, that was a what we called a Connex at the time, which is just one of those big metal shipping containers.
yeah, we have
And
them
it
on the
was
back of the
partially
semis.
buried. It was partially buried, and it was a uh, to house and support the gun crew that were manning a track-mounted 105 howitzer, and we started taking the incoming 122s, and one of them went right in the doorway and just nailed them.
No one made it out.
No, no, that was the first month I was there.
Oh wow!
That happened.
So the moment you're in country, it's the 8-week siege, right? Or is that part of the
Well,
8-week siege?
officially, I believe officially that started in May. What I'm talking about, I got there in April of '69,
Yeah,
and that happened just
like a
I want to
couple
say
weeks.
2 weeks into my deployment there. That incident happened.
And so, I mean, from a government standpoint, the week or the siege started a couple weeks later.
Yes, yeah,
But you're already getting shelled and stuff, already losing people
yeah, but
before they've even classified it as the
yeah,
siege.
yeah, it wasn't as intense, I guess.
I mean, that's a 122 taken out.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. But what I mean is the timing of it and the ambushes.
So it ramped up from there. It just got
Yes,
worse.
yes. That I believe that is why. I'm just guessing, but I believe that's why they started it in May.
Because I have notes here. Like I said, I got 2 pages of notes. Um, yeah, it says May 9th is when
Mm-hmm.
it ramped up.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in total, I guess this is just for the 8 weeks because they didn't actually give a time frame on it. But uh, let's see, that's for the 173rd. In total, 344 killed in action. Does that number sound right?
I couldn't tell you.
And 1,441 were wounded. During that time, 2 C-130s were lost, and
Yeah,
then 40 helicopters were destroyed. I believe it says Ben Het.
Ben Het was a special forces camp that was north of us. That was D Company's. Remember, I said A Company was on the south side and D was on the north. Well, Ben Het was north of us, and D Company would mine sweep the road to the north, up to Ben Het.
Okay. So they were pretty much traveling along the border then, because
Yeah, it runs right up to the border. Yeah.
and that's the where most of the casualties and the equipment was destroyed at.
No, they were all over the place.
Oh, yeah, I've got the notes. I swear, but uh, let's see here. 700 enemy rocket attacks on the 6th of June, 1969. What was that? I have The 6th of June, 1969, and the 13th of May, 1969.
Okay. The 6th of June, I believe, is when that's a date. I was second platoon, and our platoon was on react that day, and D Company was sweeping north to Ben Het, ran into an ambush, and they were pinned down. So my platoon was called out to react, to go reinforce them. When my platoon got up there, almost immediately, our Lieutenant Cameron, was killed, and the RTO, Monty Jones, who was right beside him, he got hit too, and he was killed. And the only support we had was the ARVN infantry, and they did nothing. They were taking cover.
That's a common story that I've heard from the Vietnam vets. Chopper, Rod. Rod at least had something nice to say that they weren't really good fighters, but they could scrap if they absolutely had to.
Yeah.
And they saved him whenever his chopper went down. But besides that, I mean, in the notes for Dak To, whenever 4th Infantry was pulled out, apparently they were supposed to be replaced with ARVNs, but they never showed.
Like I couldn't speak to that. I don't know.
Um,
Like I said, we did have ARVN support when we were sweeping, and there were some up there on June 6th when that happened. Did I show you the pictures from the Life magazine article?
just that one. I've got the other pictures, though.
Is
Your
there a
personal
photo in there?
The middle one.
No. This is a foldout I copied from Life magazine. No, it's not here. I thought I
Here, let's
thought I
set it up
showed
there.
that to
That
you.
way it doesn't
Yeah.
get damaged or anything. I've got pictures I'll show you after the thing of what I took, what you showed me. The picture whenever I came to your
Yeah, well,
house.
you took a picture of it while it was laying on the table there. It was a double spread.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, then I've got the picture.
Oh, that's the pictures of the engagement we're talking about.
Oh, I'm gonna put it up here, like in
Okay.
editing. There's nothing here now because it's got to go in the video. But yeah, I have. So it was 6th of June 1969 to the 13th of May 1969. There was 700 enemy rocket attacks. Um, June 1969 was also your ambush,
Oh, yeah, several.
and then the landmine. Is that where the truck set the landmine off on you?
It wasn't a truck. It was a bucket loader.
Oh, yeah.
What happened was the night before, uh, the NVA got in there and blew up one of our bridges on our route.
Was it the one that was the boundary?
No, it was way north of that. So it only took us, I don't know, 20 minutes or so to drive down there where it was. And we drove down there to assess the damage, see what we needed to do to repair it or replace it. And we got down there and we looked it over, and there were two special forces advisors stationed there at the bridge with some ARVNs. And we got there and we were there, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes when a couple of B-40 rockets started coming in. And our platoon sergeant, Sergeant Ware, is a great old guy. He knew his shit. He said, "Boys, this isn't our job. We're out of here." So he said, "We go back north towards Dak To base, and we decided to rendezvous with the bucket loader who was coming out with another dump truck with more men and tools and stuff. And there was an intersection on the road. It was what we call quarry access road, and it was just a road that went down to by the river. Forget the name of the river, Dock something. Uh, anyway, it was a sand quarry where we could haul sand out of. And so I was riding in the back of a 3/4 ton pickup, and we headed up there to that intersection. We parked there, and here come the bucket loader, and there was a low boy. You know what that is?
The semi truck with the
Yeah,
the
yeah, the
low trailer.
flatbed, and he had a dozer from the 15th LE.
Oh, the light equipment.
Yes, yeah,
That's the company, right?
yeah, yeah. There were other engineers. They were just uh, machinery, yeah, equipment, and they were coming down. Uh, we pulled up in the intersection, and we were facing north. Raymond Hayes was driving the bucket loader. He was coming down. We whoa, pull over. He pulled over like to the right, to his right, my left, and he hit a landmine. And it must have been one of those Russian 30-pound anti-tank mines, because it blew the wheel off of that bucket loader and threw Raymond headlong over that way.
Did he survive?
The blast was right behind me. Oh yeah, he survived.
That's good.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. The blast was right behind me. It knocked me out of the back of the 3/4 ton, and that's when they opened up on us from the tree line.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Now we got the low boy coming down there hauling a dozer. Boom! He hits a mine.
Wow.
Yes. The Arvins and their APCs, they're coming up on either side of the road. Now they can't come up on the quarry access road side because it was a high bank. So they're all on the other side, off the shoulder, and they hit a mine. Yeah.
So it's a whole minefield. They just
Yes.
went nuts planting
Yes.
mines everywhere.
They went after we came through with the sweep. They came down there, plugged in a bunch of mines, here, there, everywhere, and waited for us. That's why they threw the B-40s at us down there by the bridge. Okay, they knew we would turn tail and run, which is what we did, and right into their trap. Yeah, that's when they opened up on us, and we were pinned down there for most of the day until they could organize enough resources to help us out and get us out of there. Besides that, we had the equipment stuck there. We had a low boy that was partially destroyed.
And
The
anything with
bucket loader.
wheels probably has bullets in it. The tires and stuff are flat. You got
Yes.
bullet holes in that 3/4 ton, I'm
Yes.
sure.
Yes. So we were out there most of the day.
Yeah, the notes that I have, it was how many? Y'all had a 45% casualty rate,
Yeah.
but it's got to be on this one. It was 600 of y'all between the 299th and the 15th,
15th.
versus 5,000 plus, and y'all were getting hit twice a day and ambushed how often?
Yeah, at least twice a day. And there were so many ambushes I can't remember.
I don't blame you. There's 365 days in a year, but over the 3-month time frame?
Yeah.
2-month time frame, it's y'all are getting ambushed twice a day.
When I pick my nose.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, good.
You can scratch your ass on camera if you want to.
Oh, there you go. We're covered.
So you were talking about whenever y'all hit the mines and y'all got ambushed.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you were saying that there were so many ambushes going on, but I wasn't involved in every one of them.
Oh, no.
I was saying I got hit maybe 2-3 times a week. But then you got back to the compound, to the fire support base, and there was a shelling.
Yeah, just in time for dinner, and then they're trying to hit your DFAC.
B-40 rockets and 122s.
And this is how long into your deployment? 6 months or so? Or no,
No, no, it wasn't
three
even that
months?
long. I got there in April, and it happened to May, June, up to July. Sometime in July when we pulled out and went down to on K.
Okay. So that for the rest of the deployment, y'all left DACTO. Were y'all replaced or anything, or did y'all just say to hell with DACTO?
I don't know what they did with it. Okay, they were turning. It was Nixon's turning it over to the Arvins. Lake then let take the brunt of the fighting, take over control, and they didn't do it. But yeah, we were sent to Anke, and I spent the rest of my time in country in Anke.
Still doing mine sweeping and stuff like that?
No,
Or?
no, that wasn't necessary there. Uh, there we were responsible mainly for base maintenance, building guard towers, improving the airfield revetments we were talking about. That's where the attack happened at Anke. Of the they blew up 51 choppers
Oh,
in
wow.
one night by driving down the runway between the revetments and just throwing satchel charges left and right because we had built those revetments I had told you about.
Yeah, the website said 40. You're saying there's 51 that they got.
That was the number I remember.
Well, the website said there was 40 destroyed. There may have been 51 hit, but they weren't completely destroyed. Something like
Okay,
that.
yeah, that could be.
There's always those uh, stipulations like, well, this one can be repaired and go back out, so it's not destroyed.
Yeah, the fuzzing of the figures.
And that's what you did for the rest of the deployment.
Yeah, it was on K.
How long was your deployment? Was it 9 months, a year,
Just a year.
just a year?
But I didn't take a R&R, the week R&R they give you. I didn't take that. I just said, just send me home a week early.
So you came home a week early. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
What'd you do here stateside? Like, where were you assigned to? Unit?
Well, they sent me back to Fort Leonard Wood, and I was assigned to headquarters company. By then, I was an E5. So they tagged an H onto my nomenclature. I was a 12B4H.
What is
That
that?
means instructor.
Ah,
Yeah.
man, the Army loves putting people as instructors. Episode 2, Rod, they made him a pilot instructor or a scout instructor, and he hated it. Episode 4 with Chopper, he spent most of his time doing instructions or being an instructor, doing test flights, all that stuff.
Yeah. It is boring, but hey, it's a job.
Every Vietnam vet has been an instructor at one point or another in their career.
Yeah, well, if you come back and you've got time to do, that's where they put you. Because, look, somebody's got to give the new guys the knowledge. And
You had first-hand
actually,
experience.
and it's priceless. It's priceless. They have no end of questions. It is an honor to be able to pass that on. Be able to say, look, you guys, it's not going to be as bad as you think. When I first went over there, I didn't think I was coming out alive. I had no inkling that I could survive that. I got through it by the grace of God. Thank you. And I had to pass that on. And I was given the opportunity. I hope I helped.
Oh, you
Some of
probably
them.
saved some engineers' ass just by telling them, like, this is what you do in these situations and proper training. But so you were in for how many years? 3 years?
3, yeah.
3 years? What made you want to get out? Was you just like, Vietnam was enough, I don't want to do this anymore? Or?
it was very unpopular. My own family told me I was a loser. Uh,
That's fucked up.
yeah, it's it was just too much to take. So I was a quitter. I gave up.
No, you didn't give up. You honorable discharge, right?
Yeah.
You didn't go AWOL. You didn't get
No,
a
no,
dishonorable
no.
discharge.
No,
No,
what I
you
mean,
served honorably.
when I say I gave up, I didn't continue on.
Yeah, but there's people get out for all sorts of reasons. That's why I always ask veterans like what made them want to get out. Sometimes it's having a kid and they wanted to be there for the kids' birthdays and all those important milestones. Some of them got married and they'd rather be with their wife or husband than fighting. There's all sorts of reasons people stop. I wouldn't say anybody's a quitter. I'd say you're a
No.
quitter if you went AWOL or uh, dishonorable discharge. Like you just wanted to get out so bad, so you started taking drugs to pop pot so they'd kick you out. No, you did your time. You served honorably. You have an honorable discharge. You did great. You saved lives by teaching people how to properly handle those situations.
That's what I'd like to think.
You did your job while you were over there. Every shot retaliated from every shot that you retaliated with was, if you wouldn't have enlisted, would have been one less shot. No, everybody has meaning and purpose.
I agree with that.
And you getting out, what did you do after you got out? You said you were a carpenter.
Not right away. I started truck driving. I wanted to roam the country, and so I
That's
started over the road trucking.
that's an important job too. That's
Yeah,
how everything gets moved. That's
helped out.
the highways are the veins of America,
Yeah,
and the truck drivers are the blood cells.
yeah.
So everybody has a purpose.
I I think at that age I wanted to see the world, you know, and I only saw one little slice of it. It was wasn't too pretty. So I want to see the good side, you know. So I started truck driving, tractor trailer cross country, gypsy trucking they call it. I wasn't working for a company.
You were owner operator.
No, I was working for an owner operator.
Ah,
I was just a driver. Yeah, but I enjoyed the hell out of that. Boy, that was a really great experience. Got to see every one of the lower 48s. Got up into Canada, Montreal. Went to the Expo, what was it, 76? Expo 76, you remember that?
I was
No, you
born
wouldn't
in
remember that.
'89.
Yeah. Okay, it was the World's Fair. It was the
I
World's
remember hearing
Fair
about that.
that year. And we hauled up there. I was driving a 40-foot flatbed. And we hauled up there, picked up in Paramount Studios in Hollywood, Washington, something called Magic Cam. And it was a couple of crates that we loaded up on the flatbed and hauled them up there to the expo.
Did you say Hollywood, Washington?
No, Hollywood, California.
Oh, I thought you said
Paramount Studios.
yeah. I thought you said Hollywood, Washington. I was like, that doesn't
I
make
may
sense.
have. I used to live in Washington.
Me too. I was stationed at Fort Lewis.
Uh, Whidbey Island,
I wouldn't know it.
right outside the naval base.
I stayed around Lakewood, Tacoma, and Fort
Yeah,
Lewis.
yeah, down there south of Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it. Know it well. Yeah, I was up on Whidbey Island, which is in Puget Sound.
What would you like to end on? Like, if you had to pass something along to the newer generation, or what your service meant to you,
Well,
what
in my mind, I already have because my legacy is my son, and he's carried on. He's got a fine family. He's got a lovely wife. Eusti is her name. I think she's European, And uh, I have 5 wonderful grandchildren.
Is that your daughter that lives with you?
Yes, and you were mentioning autism before. My daughter suffers from autism spectrum disorder.
Yep.
That's why she still lives with me. So I'm sure you can understand what I'm talking about.
I don't think I've ever mentioned this on the channel before, but yeah, my oldest is autistic.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. It was off camera,
Yeah.
but so
So you have 2 lovely kids. You got
yeah,
5 grandbabies.
you got my son. I'm so proud of my daughter. I am very proud of, and
A lovely wife as well.
yes, and I I got no cause to complain, no reason to brag.
That sounds like a great ending to this story. Like we learned a lot, brought light to some things, and hopefully everybody that was watching enjoyed it. This has been Tales from the Post. Thank you for watching. Please tune in for the next episode.